things within themselves that that may not have been there before. And then also it's holding them accountable and understanding that if these are the things that you said that you would do, then are you doing those things? And how can help me help you? And so that it's really a big part of it because what you realize is in giving them that support and encouraging them and being there for them, they in turn do the same for you. Support, encouragement, all of those same things.
Yeah, I love that perspective of really understanding the goals beyond just, I'm going to get my job done, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to show up, I'm going to do the reporting, I'm going to file what I need to file.
Yep.
Going beyond that into the next step of what are your goals outside of today,
Hmm.
right? Outside of what you need to get done as work, but then holding them accountable and encouraging them to
Hmm.
stretch themselves in those areas.
Yes.
The other thing I have found from a leadership perspective is when you build those relationships with employees and they get comfortable with sharing those goals, you often can also pick up where there might be doubt in their process.
Yep.
And paying attention to if somebody consistently shows up and says, I know this isn't going to be very good, it's just a start, right? Or they have good ideas, but in
Hmm.
the meeting they never raise their hand to share their ideas, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Paying attention to those things and then helping nurture it out of them. It feels
Yep.
so good as a leader when you can help somebody else step into that place of thriving. I think.
Yes. It does. And it is. Honestly, it's why I even started my own business because I was, as an accountant, and it was something that I did and I did it quite well. But there was a point where it was no longer fulfilling for me. And what I realized is the part of my job that I enjoyed the most was working with the people on the team and helping them with their goal setting and helping them, whether it's advanced within accounting or a completely different area altogether. But it was that aspect of it, which is what prompted me to even start my own business doing that thing that I loved, but on my own terms.
Absolutely. So when we step into leadership roles, it's interesting because we often are taking a big step in a direction we've never been, right? And so many people, I want to be a leader, I want to be a leader, that's my goal. But
Mhm.
it can have an impact on our confidence because you've never done it before, right? There's a lot of unknown. And if you're going to be managing a team, if you're going to be responsible for projects, you're taking on a lot. So, do you have any, I'd say, long-term strategies you can share or recommend to help maintain confidence and empowerment as people progress through leadership roles?
Yes. So one of the things I always did within my mailbox, and you can do it as a physical thing or within your mailbox, but I created a kudos folder. And so it was whenever someone would send something, just saying thank you, or, it was above and beyond, or they call me out with, something else, an overall project that may have been done, but and thank you to Sherrika for X. I would put all of those in my kudos jar because that was then my place that I could go to when I would get in the moments of like, what is happening? And so the kudos jar played a big the kudos folder, but some people an actual jar if you prefer something physical, and you can actually, drop those within the jar themselves. So that was definitely a big one for me. And not only that, but it came into play when it was time for the annual reviews, because then I could go back because we're going through the reviews and you're like, oh, I did this and I did that, but that was part of my job, or they expected that out of me. But I could go back to that folder and call out all of these different things that I had done over that last year, where it's like, oh, not only am I great, but I want to make sure you know that I know that I'm great. So the kudos jar was a big one. Also, just increasing your network. And we sometimes under downplay the value of having a strong network when we're still within the corporate space, but it is probably even more essential because I feel like my current network was that was the foundation from the relationships I built in corporate and outside of just talking to people in accounting, like working with other departments. And you know what? I'm not sure. I don't know the answer for this, but let me find it for you. And just doing things like that help to build those relationships. And then you have other people that can now vouch for you that you may have, like, I just helped them with this one thing, but now they're like a champion of yours for life. So it's, having that kudos jar, increasing your um environment, and then just being around a great support system.
Yeah, great strategies. And I'm totally gonna go rename my wins folder my kudos jar because I love that. But it makes such an impact when you add those things up, right? When you have them in one place where you can reference back. And also going back to our first question of how you can support others. When
Yeah.
was the last time that you gave kudos to somebody else, right? And I have to tell you, Monday, I think it was Monday, I had a member of IAW reach out to me and share that she had written a testimonial. She wanted to put it on LinkedIn. She asked me to read it first. It made my day. It made me feel so good. It gave me such a boost of confidence and just made me think, wow, I'm doing the right things, right? Somebody heard me, somebody appreciated me. And so think about that impact you can have on others. It has to be authentic, it has to be genuine, but
Yeah.
find opportunities to celebrate people because that helps from a confidence perspective so
Yep.
much. Like
Yes,
help them
it
fill their
does.
kudos jar.
It really does. And actually, to yesterday, someone had posted on LinkedIn. Today is something Wednesday. Now I don't remember what they called it, but it's something Wednesday, and they want you to show appreciation. I can't remember because it was WW, but whatever the W was, it was about appreciation and show appreciation to someone else. And I was like, what a great idea. And so I wrote a post to a person that I've been working with doing some marketing earlier in the summer. But it was just a short period of time, but I just really enjoyed working with her and the energy that she had and how she was so invested in our project that we were working on. And so I did a kudos for her, and she was like, oh, like, because it was, out of the blue. I hadn't spoken with her in months. But it's those, like you said, it's those little things that make a really, really big difference. Never underestimate the power of a thank you. Like,
Absolutely.
it goes a long way.
Appreciation. Thank you. We have Courtney Robinson is watching us from Atlanta. She does Women Crush Wednesday, where she features women on her LinkedIn.
It sure does.
And I've been featured there, and let me tell you, I told Courtney, made my day. Right? And
Yep.
you're also then leveraging other thought leaders to help pull in like there's a big social play there as well. But when you genuinely and authentically celebrate others, it helps you feel really good, but it also helps to build that confidence loop for other people. And I think that we can all do more of that. Now, the word imposter. We all talk about imposter syndrome and getting stuck in our heads and feeling like we don't belong. So,
Mhm.
do you have any experiences that you can share where you maybe felt like an imposter, but then you overcame it?
So it's honestly been a few times in life, and it still happens even now. It's part of our day to day. We still have those moments as we go through life and as we approach different challenges where we start to question ourselves. But in having the right tools in your arsenal, you're able to recover a lot quicker and where you don't really stay in that space as long. And I know that. And so now I've learned that. But in corporate for a really long time, I would definitely have those moments where, someone would give a compliment and there would be those times where I'm like, oh gosh, now they've celebrated me in front of everyone. Now, what are they going to expect from me? Or even where I was promoted, and while I was grateful for the promotion, I'm like, what exactly does all of this going to take? I remember one of my promotions, it was over, I had specifically worked with revenue. And the promotion was over operating and fixed assets, two different areas of accounting for those not in the space. And I was like, why would you want me to manage these? And they were like, you're fine. You can do it. It'll be okay. And push me on back to my desk. And but I really felt like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But then I had to realize, wait a minute, this is not the first time you've been in a space like this. And you know what you can do, you know how well you can pick up on things, your desire to learn. Like it was all of these things that I had to start telling myself. And not only was I able to successfully take over that team, I was able to cross train everyone. And so that the people who only knew revenue before now had experience on the other side and vice versa. So it ended up being a win-win for everyone involved.
Amazing. Amazing. But it can be really overwhelming when somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, I see something in you and I want you, you can do this, right?
Yeah.
And we can really get stuck inside our heads of
Uh-huh.
me? Why me?
Right. Right.
But I
Right. What
love
did
how you
you
turn
see?
that into a win and you look back and say, look at what I did with that, right?
Mhm.
Um, was there any kind of pivotal moment in your career that helped you to transform some of those imposter feelings into empowerment? Or did it happen over time?
Um, I think it was happening over time, but I didn't realize it. And
Mhm.
there was a moment, and it was at a time of receiving another promotion where I had to advocate for myself. Well, first of all, I had to advocate for myself with every promotion, because there's a theory that if you're with the same company, you don't get the same amount as if you were to leave. And I think that's true. And so, because at one particular company, I was promoted several times, every time I had to go back and say, nope, this isn't going to work. And so that last promotion that I had with that company, um, they gave me the promotion. I wasn't expecting it. And they gave me the salary. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. And even more so, I knew that our CFO thought I was in, grossly underpaid. That was the term that was used. I was grossly underpaid. And so my the guy the I reported to, I think, the controller at the time, and he's like, well, this is your new title, this is your salary, blah blah blah. And I was like, this I mean, I thank you, I appreciate the thought, but this is not what I was expecting. And he's like, he told me to get you to a certain level, and I said, so you did the bare minimum. And I ended up going to I think the guy was our CFO at the time, I don't remember. And I negotiated my salary with him
Mhm.
because I was like, okay, there's nothing happening in this conversation. And so I negotiated my salary with him, and it ended up working in my favor. And from that moment on, I think that's when it clicked, like, okay, Sherrika, they know that you have something, and now they know that you know it too. And so, because before I feel like they knew that I didn't. I didn't know my worth. They knew I didn't know my worth. And so they took advantage of that. And a lot of places will.
They
And
will.
so I think from
They
that
will. And
moment,
a
it
lot
was
of
like,
women are in that
yes,
same spot of not
yes,
knowing their worth
yep,
and people will use that to their advantage, right?
yep,
And
yep,
it's really important to dive in there and get really comfortable with your worth,
mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm,
specific about your worth, so that when
mm-hmm,
those conversations happen, you're not the one backing down. You're not saying, okay, thank you very much. I'll go do my job now, right?
yeah.
It-
You know what? I'll even tell you, I remember someone from our executive team coming to me once and telling me that because you're a Black woman and you didn't go to a traditional 4-year university, it's going to be hard for you, and it's going to be harder for you than other people. And he was saying all this, and I'm like, yeah, you know, he's a white male. How can you tell me what I already know? But the part that really got me was he was one of the people in charge of making those decisions. And so then I'm like, so you're telling me that you're already looking at me with a bias.
right.
Exactly. You're
And
telling
you
me
have the
that you're
power
coming
to
to me with
change
a
it, right? If
bias.
you're making the decision,
Yep,
change could start with you.
exactly. Yep.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's what I mean by it was a lot of little moments here and there that happened over time where finally all led to that one thing. And I was like, you know what? It's time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, and kudos to you for for standing firm and asking for what you're worth and showing up now in a way that you can help others do the same.
Thank you.
My final question here, and I want to remind our live viewers, if you have any questions, any comments, pop them in the chat. Mentorship, we know, can be massively successful and a great support for anybody that is navigating feelings of self-doubt, feeling inadequate, wants to get to the next level, but doesn't know how. Can you speak a little bit specifically about the role you think mentorship plays in all of this?
I started in this mentorship space because I wanted to be for someone else what I didn't have when I was in corporate. And that was someone that could help to guide me, someone who could give me an objective, because you have a lot of people giving you their own personal opinions, someone who could give me an objective opinion or roadmap on how to best navigate that space. Because you will come across so many different people. Someone asked me today, if there was a book about your career, what would the title be? And I said, who does not belong in this picture? And I said that because I was typically the only one that looked like me, female and just black person, period, within those rooms. And so having someone that could help me navigate it a little bit sooner than I realized it myself and help me to know that I'm there because I belong there and not because, oh, it was almost like, let me be quiet in the room because then they'll realize I'm here. And helping me to really start to own that space that I was in. So I think mentorship is very, very valuable and very important. And a lot of organizations downplay the value of having someone to be that leader, that guide, just to help you navigate
Mhm.
um, the corporate space and just life in general, honestly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had tremendous success with mentors throughout my entire career. And you're right, if you can find somebody and have somebody that looks like you in a role that is similar to you,
Hmm.
that it's the most
Yeah.
powerful combination of people, I think. And
Yes.
as being a Black woman in corporate America, right, there's many times when you would have been the only. And so finding your own way in that world can be overwhelming, I'm sure. So
Hmm.
glad that you've had mentors. I'm glad you're paying it forward and mentoring others because I think that's equally as important. Um, Shrika, I knew I was going to enjoy this conversation. Our backgrounds align so much with the accounting world, and I laughed when I saw your sign the first time because I'm like, oh, that's so creative. Oh, Courtney said in the chat, everyone needs to be champion and be championed. Absolutely. Love that, Courtney.
Yes.
Thanks to everyone who watched live. I encourage you all to go connect with Sherrika on LinkedIn and follow her for more advice and insight. Absolutely reach out if you have additional questions or she can support you in any way. Sherrika, thank you for your patience last week with our technology challenges. I'm glad that we were able to continue today. Um,
Yes.
as always, to everyone watching and to you, if we can ever support any of your goals, please reach out. Let us know. I personally love supporting women. Uh, IAW supports women. I know Sherrika loves supporting women as well. So I hope you all have a great day. I hope to see you back here again soon. And we're almost to the end of the week. So enjoy the weekend as well.
Yes.
Bye, Sherrika. Thank you.
Thank you.
And all right.